So before we get this video started, I gotta ask you a question. So please drop the answer, the first one that comes to your mind, in the comment section. A band that comes to mind that came onto the scene so strong, so hot. You heard the single on the radio. You got the album when it came out. It was phenomenal. The band was phenomenal. They put on awesome live performance. They looked like they had staying power. They were going to be around for a long, long time. And then next thing you know, they fizzle out. For me, that band that came to my mind is the band we're going to talk about today. And that band is Hinder. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back, music lovers, especially my rock music lovers. That's right. So the band Hinder, these guys came onto the scene hot. I mean hot. So let's start here. The guys formed in 2001 out of Oklahoma City. Now, we're going to fast forward a little bit to 2005 because that's when it all gets started for these guys. They ended up signing a deal with Universal Records. A year later, they would release their debut album. Now, this album was amazing. Let's start by saying this. I'm from Houston, Texas. At that time, 2006, when the album came out, I was 18 years old. No more high school, trying to figure out what's the next step in life. So I was the first out of my group of friends to have their own place. Had a little apartment in a little town called Clear Lake, Texas, which is just in between Houston, Texas and Galveston, Texas. Beautiful city, right on the water, awesome atmosphere, a lot of good, it's just amazing, beautiful, beautiful town. Now, I'll tell you this, I drive to work every day. If I wasn't throwing on punk rock music, I was listening to 94.5 The Buzz, which is the rock station, best rock station in Houston, Texas. So, you were constantly hearing bands like 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, Evans Blue, 10 Years, great bands. But one day I turned it on and heard this little song. When the chorus kicked in, I remember hearing, "Go home and get stoned, 'cause the sex is so much better when you're mad at me." I said, whoa, what the hell is this? Who the hell are these guys? And what is this song? Well, that was their lead single off that debut album, Extreme Behavior. And that's exactly where we're going to start out in this video. So once Get Stoned started playing all over the radio airwaves, everybody wanted a piece of these guys. They were awesome. Post-Winkler, the front man, the lead singer, is the ideal frontman. Bottom line, the dude had the look, he had the style, he had the voice, he had everything you need. If you typed into a computer, I want an AI generated lead singer, Post-Winkler's gonna come out. Great guy to have, holding the mic, just leading the charge. Now, the second single off the album, Lips of an Angel, has to be their best song. And I'm not saying that because it's my favorite song by them, because it's not, but it is a good song, and it's a song that took them from this level to that level. Now, it was the song that spent, either number 1 or top 10 in most charts around the country, especially New Zealand. It seemed like New Zealand really loved these guys. They absolutely loved them some Hinder. That song, Lips of an Angel, spent 41 weeks on the charts. It spent 2 weeks at number 1. So they loved it. But the song on the surface seems like a nice ballad, love song, but it's a little something different if you dig deep. Because in the video, Post-Winkler, lead singer, he's getting a late night phone call from his ex. And as he's talking to his ex, he has his current girlfriend in the other room. And as he's singing to her, it's basically, "I wish my girl was you. I hope, us talking don't cause a fight with your dude. You got the lips of an angel." And when he says that, he's not talking about his girlfriend has the lips of an angel. It's the ex. Now, I got to find that. That's got to be a tough situation. Now, I'll say this. I've never been in that situation. Now, I'm married, love my wife. I'm good. That's all I need for the rest of my life. I'm straight. But even in my single days, never no problem getting the ladies. There's no problem. Never was a problem. But I never found myself straying away. I never cheated. And I never had the desire to. It wasn't like a conscious effort. Don't do it. I want to be different from all the other guys. It wasn't like that. It was just never had the reason to. And then most guys say it was just an opportunity came up and they took it. Luckily, I was never in that situation. So I can still say that I'm not like all the other guys in that sense. But no judgment on this end. But man, I can imagine being in that situation where you're so obsessed with the ex that you wish your current girl was her. That's gotta suck. So after the success of Lips of an Angel, the guys were on top of the world. Nobody can get enough of them. Extreme Behavior is a 10-track album. 10-track album. 8 of those tracks, singles. The next 2 singles were awesome. The next single, their third one, How Long? Awesome song. Their 4th single, Better Than Me, even more amazing. Just like Lips of an Angel, the song went well with the music video they put out. In the music video, you got a beautiful girl and this guy, they're having the ideal perfect relationship, taking photos together, going to the store, shopping sprees together, sitting on the porch, swinging together, just everything you would want. It's like the movie The Notebook, the ideal relationship. But when she's not around, the guy's in his drug addiction. So he tries to hide the drug addiction. So in the video, she leaves, he buys some drugs, they're bad, he dies. That's the video. Very sad. And it's the beauty of a music video. I think when music videos were created, that was the point. Let's put something with the song to make you even feel more. And we know a lot of times music videos don't even go hand in hand with what the artist meant on the lyrics of the song. But sometimes as fans, we could just make the two link the way we perceive it, and that's kind of what it was for this music video. But, the guys from Oklahoma City, their hometown really acknowledged them. In 2007, they put them in the Oklahoma City Rock Hall of Fame. Even if the guys never did nothing else in their career, their hometown said, hey, we know you guys are doing something special, so for this moment in time, you're going here, and you're here for life. Absolutely awesome. They put it out a special edition DVD for Extreme Behavior. It was called Extreme Behavior. You can't make this shit up. And literally, you cannot make that shit up. The guys were in heaven. Every interview you hear with Hinder at that time, the guys just couldn't believe it. When they heard their first single get stoned on the radio for the first time, they were just on cloud nine. And I could imagine that feeling. I mean, you're working hard at something. You get that major record label sign, and then you put out the album, and people love it. That's got to be the greatest thing in the world. And the album's absolutely awesome. So the album Extreme Behavior ended up getting certified 3 times platinum, and well deserved. But in 2008, that led to their follow-up album, their second album. Now this album was called Take It to the Limit. Now, when it came out, the first single, Use Me, started hitting the radio, and I heard it and I said, okay, cool. New Hinder song, new album coming out. It was a decent song, so I was ready to hear the whole album in its entirety. Now, the title track, Take It to the Limit, actually featured Mick Mars from Motley Crue on guitar during the track. Pretty cool. Now you're starting to get cool company and people want you around, so you're definitely on the right path. Then their second single off of the album, Without You, was a decent song as well. Now, when I got the album, I'm going to be honest with you, and I think a lot of the public agree with me, it didn't live up to Extreme Behavior. Now, it's not uncommon for a band to have a hot album and then release their next album and then not live up to it. That's fine. But you still got to go through the motions, and you got to hope that that next album, that third album, you can get that momentum back. So, Take It to the Limit did eventually get certified in the United States. It got certified gold. Now, like I said, didn't live up to the hype of their first album, but that's okay. They got to tour with some hella bands, some of the hottest bands at that time they were doing tours with. But one they got to hang their hat on, and they can always do that, is they got to tour with Motley Crue on their Saints of Los Angeles tour. Now, if there's anything you can ever say, you got to do a tour with Motley Crue, I'm sure there's some stories there. Even though it wasn't prime Motley Crue, you still got to have some cool times, right? Now, this is where you got to ask yourself, okay, we didn't live up to our first album, but we got to do this next one right. So they got back in the studio and they released their 2010 album, All American Nightmare. I got to be honest, there was not a lot of promoting for it. I didn't hear no singles on the radio. And when I finally found out they did have an album, I got it, I listened to it. I wasn't impressed. I mean, no disrespect to the guys, but it wasn't that great. So I had to ask myself, okay, is that all these guys are? They're pretty much going to live off that first album and that might be it for them? I was starting to think that, but I gave them a chance because 2012 rolled around and they dropped their next album, Welcome to the Freak Show. Can you guess? Yes. I was even less impressed. It was not a great album, in my opinion, and these guys were definitely going the wrong direction, and they weren't even doing as many touring. You've seen them falling off that cliff. Now, got worse. Austin Winkler, the lead singer, he ended up leaving while they were on a tour, and he entered rehabilitation, drug rehabilitation, and they had to bring in the lead singer from Saving Abel to fill in for him. Now, this ended up dragging on because by the time the guys got ready to do their next studio album, it was announced that Austin Winkler was no longer going to be their lead singer. So Hinder brought in a guy named Marshall Dutton to be their new lead singer to replace Austin Winkler, and they dropped their next album in 2015, When the Smoke Clears. Now, I went back and listened to that album because I knew I was doing this video because I didn't even know it existed. I'm going to be honest with you. And I wasn't a big fan of it. And then in 2017, they dropped their next album, The Rain, and that's the last album that Hinder has dropped. And I'm just... It's not good. It's not good. I apologize. There may be some Hinder's diehards out there, and if they love all their music, I apologize because there's some bands I like that I know people, it's just not their thing. But if I enjoy it, I don't give a shit what nobody else thinks. And if there's people out there that love these albums that Hinder did after Extreme Behavior, well, hell, I'll even say Take It to the Limit. decent album, but anything after that, if you love it, that's fine. I apologize. But man, anything that they've done since that second album has not been that great. And that's when it goes back to what I asked at the beginning of the video. Who are those bands for you or artists that you remember thinking they were going to be the next big thing, and then once they got to the top, it was a straight slide down. There was no pick back up. There was nothing. And that's what it was for Hinder. And it feels kind of bad because I have a lot of good memories of that first album, and Hinder has a special place in my heart because of that album. But I gotta be honest, everything after that was just not that good, and I feel bad for the guys because I'm pretty sure they put a lot of effort in, and it's really hard to stay consistent and be a great band because how many bands are there in the world? There's tons of them. How many go on to those heights where you're like, that's an iconic band? So yes, you can hope for that, but if it don't happen, you can say you're in the masses of the ones that tried and just couldn't do it. But yeah, that's all I got to say about Hinder. Loved Extreme Behavior, and they had their moment in the sun. But anything else I could say is not going to be good, so I won't say it. But anyway, really want to know what you guys think about Hinder. If you're a fan, I want to know if there's any stories you got on them, anything that they mean to you in a special way. Please let me know. Drop it in the comment section. But until next time, go out there and take care of yourself, take care of your friends, your family. Do something great. Go for something big. Don't be afraid that if you reach some success, you might fall off that cliff. You can't live that way. Got to go for it. Till next time, take care of yourself. I'm out.